Hey there, welcome to the podcast. Today is a bit of a different podcast. I'm going to be making a quick announcement and asking you a favor in this podcast. So we'll resume kind of our regular relationship tips again next week, but I just wanted to ask you this little favor today. So as this beautiful summer has been going on, we're really close over here to wrapping up our long-awaited first responder spouse support group. We are going to be releasing it in September, but before we do, I've got a couple of questions, and I'm wondering, can you help us out to really create the best kind of support group we possibly can for first responder spouses? And who better to give us advice and input than you? So in the show notes, there's a link. It's just a real quick 2 questions, simple questions. Give your advice. We all like to give advice, right? Use your expertise and tell me what you think people would need. This support group, it's really designed to take, this sometimes lonely and anxiety-filled, unappreciated role and really giving the support in a very trusted, confidential space so you can go from not just surviving, but to actually thriving in your life and in your relationship. These are going to be small groups, small cohorts, and really also part of it is to make it, I know there's lots of local department support groups, but kind of one of the things I hear is they can feel a little cliquey, or there's concern about really bringing true things forward because you don't really want to getting back to the department, or you're not going to talk about your spouse's chief or coworkers or something like that. So really wanting to set up these safe spaces that you're not feeling so disconnected or so alone, and really get to know people near and far and go beyond, right? Me giving you the support, which can kind of feel a little bit one way, right? For others to be able to come in and meet on the regular, get to know each other, and really have time together to support each other. And there'll also be topics in there. It'll be facilitated conversation with many topics so that we're not just wandering around in our conversation. It doesn't just become a total complaint fest, or it doesn't just become a complete, one person is the boss of everybody else and giving all our advice around. I have a new friend who I've been swimming with this summer, and she is on a pregnancy journey. She's a single person, and she's at the age where she's like, I really want kids. So she's going through doing IVF and the whole thing. Anyhow, I have to, as a mom of not so little children anymore, really watch myself. It's not about me giving her all the advice under the sun, but really supporting her journey, right? We love to give advice, but on that lines, that's why I have this survey. So you can give all the advice you want to give to me. What do you think first responder spouses need or don't need in a support group, right? You are the best to know what is going to create a really meaningful, supportive, connective place. What are the things that would kind of take away from that? And the other piece will be really what kinds of topics would be useful for a first responder spouse. This can be you or other first responders that you know. This could even be, I'm not the spouse, I'm the first responder, and I think my spouse needs this. I would love my spouse to have this kind of support, or this kind of thing wouldn't work. Here is your moment to give all of the advice that you want to give. 2 short questions, really simple Google survey. You'll just click on the link. So go right in the show notes here and you can click on the link and it'll take you, just a couple of minutes to be able to spew off all the advice you want to give. So, and just really know when you're doing that, this is you helping. We love to give advice, and we also love to help. It feels good to help. It feels good to know that you're making a contribution. And sometimes we don't always see what's on the other side of a contribution. I think so often about mentors of mine in my life who they've just said one little thing and it's really stuck with me for a long time. And there's no way they would possibly know how impactful that one little thing is. Remember back when I was in middle school or high school, just that young, tender age where social things can be so hard and so rough. And I'm a swimmer and I swam on swim team at that time, but I've never been very, let's just say, good in a competitive sphere. I'm not a medal winner, never came in first, second, or third, really. I was always over there in the slow lane. And that's a little bit hard, right? It's a little bit hard to always be last, that you're in this competitive environment and never in my own times. That's what swimming is really great, because your own times, you can improve your own times. So you're kind of contributing to a team thing, but you also, even if you don't win first place, you can be making your own self-improvement. But that line just feels like a line sometimes. There was not very nice boys on the team who would make fun of girls or make body comments or those kinds of things too. So just kind of a hard time. And I must have been down one day and I had somebody tell me that when I'm like, yeah, I'm not very good. And they said, well, you know what? You're still faster than the person sitting on their couch. That is one. I mean, it was just kind of a one-off comment that somebody made, but man, did that stick with me. And it has stuck with me in so many areas of my life, right? The importance of I'm the one out making the effort. I'm doing something. I'm not just sitting around complaining and sitting on the couch. I do sit on the couch sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but I go out and do stuff, even if I'm not number one at it, right? It's not about being number one. And I have used that line so much. I am so much faster than the people who are just sitting on their couch, right? When it comes to athletic things. So that person has no idea that I still think of that today over and over and over again. So your little, whatever it is that you contribute, small or big, making a contribution really makes a difference. And like I said, sometimes we know exactly how it is. We see it come back around, and sometimes we don't. My kids do this too all the time. I say things, do all my parenting stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, especially with the teenage years, they are not listening. And then a few days later, or maybe weeks later or something, I will hear them say something. I'm like, guess they were listening. Okay. My contribution is important. So your contribution is important. I would love to hear from you. It would be helping me, but really it would be helping these first responder spouses who are going to come and engage and be part of this group. So jump on down to the show notes, grab the link. It's going to take you 2 minutes to go in there, answer 2 questions, give your information and your love. And we will be back on next week with our relationship tips and moving us forward, building that love and connection within ourselves and our relationships and with our spouses. So as always, be committed to sharing and loving and having a voice that has meaning. Be present to yourself, be present in your life, be present to your spouse. Show up with curiosity. So much curiosity and love for yourself and for your spouse. And I will talk with you next week. Thanks. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you can get every episode. And when you are ready to be in action, come find us. Facebook, Instagram, or our website. It's all the same name, relationshipsonfire.com. We've got that S on there. There's lots of us having relationships. So relationships with an S on fire.com. Thanks so much. Saying goodbye, your fire and water gal, Cori Myka. See you next time.